Next up, we have Megatron from the Transformers Devastation soundtrack. Once again, everybody, this is a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician, a composer, and my objective here is to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what is happening here musically. So if you like the sound of that, make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you want to use. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, all that good stuff. Consider becoming one of the member subscription paid things. Support the channel even further that way. Support what we do here in this channel. And, of course, two disclaimers. Number one, this is my very first time hearing this track, which means I will be pausing a lot. I will be pausing as I will be pointing things out as I hear them. And number two, this is happening live on stream. We record this live on stream in a single take. So whatever happens, happens. So let's do this. Let's do it. Let's see what we got. Megatron, let's go. Nice. Okay, so we start with a... Oh, from the previous video. We start with a very, very cool guitar riff. Sounds like this is going to be heavy metal. And, of course, a riff. This is a more colloquial term. It's been widely adopted. Colloquial means there's no real official academic term for this, but it's used widely. Or at least we're using it for the purposes of explaining. A riff is basically a similar thing to a motif. And a motif is the smallest version of your musical idea, the seed from which everything else comes from. And in the case of a riff, it's a similar thing, but instead of being the focus or the main focus, it can also be used as an accompaniment. Because it's usually played on something like a guitar, a bass, or maybe a piano or a keyboard, that kind of thing, used in a modern sense for a band. And something else we had going on here, we had the guitar doing its riff that had two parts. It had one part up above doing the melody, and one part below doing the rhythm. And during the rhythm, doing in guitars what is called palm muting. Palm muting is whenever you hear a guitar and it sounds like chong 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 chong, that is the guitarist takes the palm of the picking hand and places it right on the strings on the low end of the, like, as far back as it goes, so that you partially mute the strings, and that's how you get the sound. It's very common in heavy metal, and what we do is you release the palm muting, so you get open strings to play the melody, and then in between you get the rhythm going on. So we are having this, and we are having a doubling with the drums. Doubling means there's more than one instrument doing the same thing of this whole thing. And it's okay, Sneezy. We can just change it if you win. So yes, a doubling is more than one instrument doing the same musical idea. And the cool thing is that because of the nature of the guitar, because we have the guitar split into two parts, one is melody, one is rhythm, the drum is doing doublings to the rhythm. So whenever the guitar hits the palm mute over here in the intro, the drum was hitting that, and then the guitar was able to do the melody by itself, giving it a very, very cool sense of call and response. Call and response is, you know, having kind of like a conversation, and it just adds more depth to something as simple as an intro. And this is very common because it just works, right? So let's see where this goes. So we now repeat the riff, but we introduce a second guitar doing a harmony. Or, as we call them, twin guitars, or a harmonized guitar. These are both playing overall, in essence, the same riff. Just one of the guitars is playing it from a different point in the scale to sound prettier the way that it is. And, of course, the guitars are panned. Panning, in this sense, is the concept of prioritizing one ear over the other. Nowadays, of course, we use stereo as the standard for our speakers. Left speaker, left ear, right ear. Most human beings in the world have two functioning ears, left ear, right ear. So you have left ear, right ear, here you are, yourself, all lovely, nice, deformed, and bald, therefore evil. And you have this kind of thing. So when it comes to panning, if a track is full volume on both left and right ear, it will sound like you are hearing the sound coming from the front. However, the more you lower the volume on one side, the more it's going to sound like it's coming from the other. And in this case, what we're doing is we are having 0% volume for guitar 1 on one ear, but all the way in the other, and the opposite for the other one. So now, if you do this with a lot of metal tracks, especially melodic stuff like melodic death metal, that kind of thing, you can take off one ear and you will hear only one of the guitars. And that's how it works. That's how it works. So yeah, we're getting that one too. So let's see where it goes. Ooh. And we go off the ramp. So going off the ramp is a colloquial term that I use. It's a very good way of establishing suspense, like making your listener feel like they just went off a ramp and they're suspended up in the air. You want to achieve that sense of just, oh, where are we going? Inertia. Take away the drums. Maybe the bass as well. You get that quick moment. Super good for dropping the beat. You just do that, and there you go. You got this. And I heard a melody. So let me just go back a couple of seconds to hear that again. Okay, so now that we have the guitar riffs settled, we now bring in the main beat, and we bring in the melody, the melodic guitar with our actual motif. The seed, smallest version of our musical idea, the seed from which everything else happens, and it looks like we are doing a similar structure than what we did at the start. We introduce the first one first, and then we introduce a second layer to give them that sense of really, really, really cool harmony. Let's see where this goes. We change sections, and now we go for a contrasting section. So this part we had an intro, of course, with the introduction of the first riff. Then we went over to section A. So in music, you have something that we call form, or most colloquially known as just structure. And when it comes to that, you divide your music into different sections so that you have overall musical ideas, like an overarching idea going on from section to section. Because when you're making music, you want to keep a very careful balance between what is familiar and what is new. Too much familiar, and you risk boring your listener, tunes out. Too much new, you risk overwhelming the listener, so they tune out. And when it comes to structure, you will have section A, and usually you will want to go to section B. And section B is you want it to be a contrasting section. However, you don't want it to be something completely unrelated and completely new. You want there to be something that ties these two together, whether it is the same tone, the same timbre, maybe you're keeping the similar drums, or you are doing a variation of the motif. Something like that, or variation of the riff, something like that, that just keeps you, gives you some sort of common thread to keep between one and the other, so that you don't overwhelm the listener and don't make them feel like they are completely dull. How long are sections usually? It depends. It completely depends on the scale that the composer wants. It completely depends on what the composer is aiming for, the duration of the track and everything. Like, they can go a section A can go for as quick as like 5-10 seconds. There's of course the intro for Wagner's Ring Cycle, the Das Rheingold. The first chord of it is 5 minutes. Intro. A single chord played for 5 minutes. So yeah, this is all relative. This whole thing is entirely relative. So, I don't know, Nico. So yeah, we'll have this, so you have this, and the structure is just as a way of extrapolating. So this is not entirely going to be one for one. There are details that you can move around. It's just the overall idea of A and the overall idea of B. Yeah, I think I'm going to do those over the weekend, like offline. I think so, because they're building up. So yeah, we have that, and now we have our new section. Let's see where this goes. I'm going to refill my water bottle. Ooh. Okay. So yeah, the riff is somewhat similar to what we heard on the initial riff. It's a variation of the motif. It's of that riff. It's mostly the drums that are changing and what the palm mute is doing. But there is a little bit of resemblance in the melody. It's just slower as well. So the drums have changed the beat that they have, and the guitars are a little bit slower paced. So, most anybody has looked at this track, will be requesting more for this game of future. Sounds good. Let's see. Ooh. Back to section A's. And it sounds like we entered solo territory, which when it comes to a guitar solo, usually you will have some sort of predetermined structure, but the guitar solo is a lot more free form. You are allowed to completely bring in completely new material into the guitar solo, completely unrelated motifs, completely unrelated everything, and you get away with it because it's a solo. It's just a display of skill and a display of just a cool melody. It's a moment of cool. So in this case, a lot of the rules in music get thrown out for the rule of cool. That's usually what happens with solos. Because another thing to remember, when it comes to music, what we come to know as rules is not entirely true. There are no rules. What there are is common practices. Things that are known to work and things that are known not to work. Or things that are known to have certain functions and things that are known to have other functions. And then there are things that are just a bad idea because they are bad combinations. However, theory does not equal practice. Because in the case, for example, there is one piece of music. It's extremely famous. And in theory, if you were to present that as a composition project, you would probably get kicked out of the school for being so stupid. And that is Canon in D. It is theoretically one of the most boring, one of the most useless, one of the most just mundane, monotonous pieces of music ever written. But that's not how we know it as, do we? It's a beautiful piece of music. It's beautiful. Once you hear it, it's absolutely beautiful. But in theory, it isn't. So that's one of the things. And when it comes to solos, it's one of those things that it becomes the rule of cool. And a lot of the times. Which is why guitars, like solos in general, can just go in so many completely insane ways. And it still works. Because it's the rule of cool. So, let's see where this goes. Ooh. There you go. I can tell that whoever composed this listens to Mors Principium Est. So, there is a melodic death metal band called Mors Principium Est. This riff right here is the riff for Leader of Titans by Mors Principium Est. Like, pause the video, go listen to the first 30 seconds or so of Leader of Titans by Mors Principium Est. Let me just bring up... I'm not going to play it because of copyright, but I am going to show you the track. Where is it? Here. And let me just mute this just in case. And... so, here we go. Leader of Titans by Mors Principium Est. This song over here is the riff that we just heard is the exact riff. It's almost quote for quote. It's a quote. This could be considered a quote because that riff we just heard is the same riff as Leader of Titans by Mest. I'm not gonna play it here because of copyright, but yeah, just a little bit. Like I'll play it afterwards for the stream. But yeah, let's continue. Really, really cool. Ooh, nice. And we go back to section A. Ooh. Very cool. Section A again, variation. Back to section B. Is it Nicola and Kenny Meredith? Nice, nice, nice. Oh, man. Like, and these riffs are also really good. Like, these are very, very well-made riffs. But yeah, overall, we're doing small variations of everything we've done so far. So... and we bring back this. And I think this is a recapitulation of the intro, but with the riff is now done a little bit higher in the range for added dramatic effect. Like, if you want to add drama to something you do, just turn it up an octave. Play the same thing you did before, just up an octave. Higher in the range, and you get drama. That's it. It was pulled from market? This game was pulled from the market? That's insane. That's insane. Like, for this track alone, I would play it. Let's see. So louder equals better? No, I did not say louder. Because if you want loud, yeah, you can go for any atonal piece. But higher can equal more dramatic. So you repeat what you did before, you go higher, and it's more dramatic. And you can do this in any context. Right now, we're just revisiting a bunch of stuff. By the many Transformers stuff? Oh, okay. That's a shame. The legally distinct, totally not Leader of the Titans by Mest, that riff. Let's see where this goes. Yep, back we go. Back to A, once again. So yeah, so far, structurally speaking, this has been a simple minery. We had a moment of solo, where we had a couple of extra bits and pieces, which we could maybe call section C, and then back we go to A and B. Like, maybe primes. Like, prime just means it's a variation. Like, it's roughly the same thing, but overall, it's the same musical idea. A prime, B prime, and we're continuing doing that, so... I'll find cues after this, yes. I did not expect such a song from this either, yeah. Recap again of section A. Section B again. Please do not fade this out. It's really cool, yeah. Oh, I love that little break there. And there, right, that little break that we heard, by the way, I forgot to mention this earlier, that's just a small rhythmic displacement. It's a syncopation. Syncopation is when you play against the beat, but you just displace the entire ensemble to play just a moment later than it usually would, and it gives you that sense of really cool breaking through drama. So let's see how it goes. Might have been just sent in the cut. We'll see. Let's see. Okay, so instead, we let go of the drums, and we end with a quick, just run of the bass, and that's it. Man, that was fun. That was fun, dude. There you have it. That was Megatron from the Transformers Devastation soundtrack. That was really good. That was awesome. Once again, everybody, this has been the Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician, a composer, and my objective here has been to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what is happening here musically. If you're watching this on the video archive, thank you for watching. Make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you want to use. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, consider becoming a member. One of them paid memberships, support the channel even further with that. No obligation at all. And, of course, if you want to listen to this track with me without me interrupting every 3 seconds, I'll be linking it in the description. If you want to request a song and you're not on the live stream, go to the Discord. The Discord has the LFA requests channel. Follow the instructions on the pinned comments there. And if you want to watch the streams live, check the Twitch and the Discord. We go live at 6 p.m. Central European Time, but the Twitch and Discord have the stream schedule showing in your local time zone. So, with that being said, let's, that's good stuff. Good stuff, Megatron, man. That was really, really good. Good stuff, good stuff. But, yeah, let's move on.